Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Letter, where we once again have a very difficult decision to make.
So how we decided was we know Ashton goes to the party. So we figured to go with the bratwurst.
Yeah.
And hopefully get something interesting.
Yeah, I feel like we'll get more new information that way because we know we'll see Ashton at some point regardless.
Yeah.
And who's to say? I mean, depending on how long we're out, conceivably we could get back in time to see Ashton.
We could.
I don't think it's going to play out that way, but at least there's a chance. Whereas if we say no to going out with Kylie, there's like no chance of seeing that side of things. So I think we decided to go this way.
Yep.
Okay, but only because Kylie asked.
Yep, pretty much.
So what did that do? Okay, so we actually did not lose with Ashton.
So
we were the same.
We actually got points with Luke.
We got points with Luke.
Okay.
We're actually in the positive with him.
Crazy.
Yeah. In the end, it's my own fondness for Kylie that wins out. Chances are I'll only have to endure his presence for an hour or so. If it lasts more than that, I can make up an excuse, a sudden call from a friend, or things to work on. Well, I mean, that makes it sound like we would get home in time.
Yeah, to go see...
To do both things, yeah.
Yeah, Ash.
It doesn't seem so bad when I think of the pros and cons. At best, it'll be a quiet dinner. At worst, it'll be an awkward affair we're both eager to be rid of. I'm leaning more on the latter happening, hoping for the former, of course.
Okay, but only because Kylie asked.
Kylie's face instantly lights up. For the third time today, she tackles me into a hug before pulling away and dragging me by the hand toward the building's exit.
That's all right. I'm sure Theo doesn't mind.
Oh, he minds.
You let me pick where we're going to eat. Don't worry, it's just close.
Luke follows closely behind and perhaps out of some desire to keep the dead air away, I can't resist throwing in a quip.
Keep your distance. You better not do anything funny, you hear?
I'm the one who should keep my distance. May I remind you who approached me first and what you did right after?
Oh, I remember it clearly. But perhaps it's you who needs a reminder. You seem to have never learned your lesson. Care we give it another try? Maybe this time it'll stick.
Maybe this time it'll stick.
Oh my god, he's like a
If you're
5-year-old.
scared, I'll show you what's scary.
To my surprise, his tone lacks the usual sardonic note in it, and briefly I pause to stare at him. He quickly shuts his mouth right after and walks ahead of us.
I feel like we chose poorly. He's acting like a dick.
Or... conceivably at this point, he's seeing things.
He could be.
I'd be curious. I kind of want to see. All talk and no trousers like the usual, and for the better part of our walk, except for Kylie's excited chatter, we don't speak. Somehow I have the strange feeling I'm already getting used to this kind of banter with him. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. And amidst this newfound friendship, dare I call it that, Ashton's message lays forgotten and abandoned in my pocket. Wow.
Oops.
That is pretty dramatic.
Are you going to have an affair?
Dinner date achievement. That's not promising. That's not what I wanted at all.
Also, we're back to the same damn restaurant. Hello, I'm back with the guy I assaulted yesterday.
Well, yeah, otherwise you have to draw a new background and atmosphere and new music. Of all the places nearest to the school, Kylie picks this one, and waiting for food to be served is as awkward as I've imagined it would be. Not the bad sort, though. The pleasant kind. Surprisingly, Luke's an okay bloke when he tries. When he tries. So long as you're willing to look past the tactless remarks, or we're not exchanging acerbic quips. It's clear he's making an effort for this to be as fun as possible for the 6-year-old by being chattier, even going as far as to laugh when Kylie's story calls for it.
Oh, he's making an effort with her at least.
Yeah.
I give him a little bit of points.
Like 3 points.
2. Don't push it.
Harsh. It's an interesting thing to hear from the man.
He's kind of a bratwurst.
He is a bratwurst. More than once, I catch his frequent cheesed-off expression easing whenever he looks at the girl.
And your friend? Did you make up with her?
Yep. She said she just saw something she didn't like. She didn't accept the jellies, though.
Interesting. She saw something she didn't like.
She told me to give it to you instead. She knows you like the red ones, too.
Do we figure out what jelly
Very well.
bellies are?
Hand it to
Jelly
me
babies
later.
are?
I'll bring some of them home.
I'm pretty sure they're jelly beans.
Okay.
I think your Tia would love to have some.
What a terrible liar.
Funny, out of all like the gummy candies in the world, which you know I love, I hate jelly beans.
Yeah, we don't really have jelly beans.
I don't like jelly beans. And I like gummy stuff.
I do typically like gummy stuff. He says he dislikes the idea of having children of his own, but it's easy to see some part of him genuinely wants them.
Interesting.
What's stopping him? Once Kylie wanders to the nearby bookshelves after having lost interest in the conversation, however, we both revert back to silence. On our own, we have little to talk about aside from a few questions about the other here and there. At one point, it does veer on local politics and history. He's surprisingly versed with it that he can hold a decent conversation without throwing a jibe. Nothing too personal is ever mentioned so far, though. It's too early for those, and besides, I don't like him enough to speak of every minute detail of my life. Better keep it strictly between the silence and the casual repartee. This whole thing already looks and feels wrong on so many levels. I'm quite sure he feels the same. So when another bout of silence hits us and becomes too much, I've taken to finding something else to occupy myself. Toying with my mobile, turning it from hand to hand while we wait for our respective meals. But it'll be a complete lie if I say I'm not waiting for some intervention. Something to pull me away from this place. Someone. Ashton's probably at Salem Well by this time, working on whatever business he has there. Maybe if I make up an excuse and leave now, I can still catch him.
Cut that out, it's distracting.
My hand stills, holding the gadget awkwardly between us, arrested mid-pass by his bored tone. He's been quiet for a long minute now after complaining about how appalling the tea they're serving here is. Before that, he has whined about how uncomfortable his chair is and tasteless the decorations they have up
You
here.
are as pompous as they come.
To be fair, it does look like they just have bicycles hanging on the wall. He might not be wrong.
I don't think it looks bad for a cafe. It's a cafe.
I don't know that I've been to a cafe that has bikes on the wall.
I mean, it's like a coffee shop. Like, think of like the downtown coffee shops you used to go to. They were like homey and quaint and had some like antique stuff on the wall.
Not bicycles. I would.
I tried.
Previous to that, he has griped about how dull the place is compared to the one he frequents on the upper class side of the city. I'm sorry for being a bunch of peasants, Your Majesty. Figures he'll lose patience soon, having already grumbled about almost everything his eyes can reach. It's just unfortunate he's turned to me now.
Why don't you just look somewhere else?
I can't. If I turn elsewhere, I might end up looking at the bobfuck right behind us.
I don't
Wait,
know what that means.
And when you
Bob,
turn green,
do I even want to ask?
I don't want to hear it. If it's coming out of his mouth, it can only be either rude or offensive. Regardless, he continues.
Everything looks good. But have you seen the face? True horror.
What is wrong with you?
I'm assuming he's making fun of a person.
I
You
think
know,
so.
I frown about this in practice, but that mouth needs to be washed out with a particularly potent soap. Preferably by your own mum.
A shame she isn't here,
For whatever reason, that puts an end to that talk right away. He returns to watching his godchild, who has found a particularly interesting picture and is now poring over it, while I turn back to my mobile. Still no message. Would it kill him at least send a message, check if I were home? Meanwhile, Luke's silence lasts all but 10 seconds.
What is it with the damn mobile? Are you on a curfew?
Yes.
Then come up with something to talk about.
Yeah. He's got the immature act down pat, I'll give him that. Seriously, how old is this guy? Has he somehow been deprived of affection during childhood?
And what is it to you? I don't think it's any of your business what I do with it.
It is my business, all right?
How?
1, I'm the one paying here. 2, I'm being forced to eat dinner in a place this stuffed and noisy. Lastly, it's been 10 minutes, the food isn't here, and I'm hungry. What you're doing with the mobile is annoying and distracting, when the least you could do is keep things entertaining while I suffer.
There's another typo.
That's your problem?
Who
Shouldn't you
says
be
we
more
do?
worried about how
He
this
said do,
entire
though.
affair looks to other people?
Oh, I didn't realize this was one. You move fast, Daisy. You could have informed me first.
I was
you know.
waiting for this to turn into a date.
Had I known, I would have taken you someplace nicer. Certainly the kind
You're
with better
married.
food and plenty of good wine.
Why did I ever think this was a good idea? Did it ever occur to you how inappropriate this might look to everyone?
Why should I care? It's only inappropriate if you make it out to be. Relax, I won't do anything to make your boyfriend angry. He doesn't even need to know we dined out. It'll be our dirty little secret.
I was on board until the last line.
He's not my boyfriend.
Wait.
You should have said he was.
The words
And
came
he's
out.
a cop and can shoot you
Yeah.
and put you in jail. That's what I would have said.
The words come out with more force than I've intended. By the time I realize my slip up, his lips are already spread in a sneer. He slowly crawls up in my face.
Oh, so there is
heat.
someone. You're so easy to read.
Briefly, his eyes search my face. I have no idea what he sees, nor do I care to know. But in the next second, he barks out a laugh, displaying his amusement without reserve to everyone within earshot.
When we get to Luke, I just cannot see any redeeming qualities in him. I'm really waiting to see how this plays out because right now, he's a bratwurst.
In that moment, I know I've flipped a switch in him somewhere and I've lost my chance to deny his assumptions. Do I even want to? Isn't that the reason why I've been so focused on my mobile, waiting for another message for him? For a reason to dump this awkward meeting to go after him?
Look how mottled you are. Now the nickname makes more sense. Shy Miss Pink and her cute little crush. The color suits you, by the way. It matches the hair.
If I'm sitting across the table from you, I would like kick him in the shin.
It's not a crush.
Classic denial. But in reality, you want him to be yours. And your every move is made to make him notice you.
That's not wrong.
In fact, you don't want him to see you with another man in a non-professional capacity. Because he might misinterpret it.
He knows you're married,
The
douchebag.
same thing goes for you, doesn't it? Bloody, yours is even worse. What about your wife? Aren't you concerned she might misinterpret this?
Daisy, just because we tied the knot doesn't mean we have to be joined at the hip at every single opportunity.
Don't be ridiculous. Why else would you marry her if you don't want to be with her for the rest of your lives?
Because, Daisy, she also has other things she can do with her life and friends to spend time with. Granted, I don't like some of them, and I have a few of my own she utterly dislikes. But wifey doesn't have to know my every move. Nor do I hers. Do you know how boring that would be? To be with the same person for all hours of the day. Losing sleep over the mere fact they're not with you.
No comment.
Or putting everything you have aside to please them. To have your whole world revolve around one person.
I see nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Zero.
Aren't you just mistaking that for something else?
Maybe you didn't marry somebody that has all your same interests.
Clearly.
Unlike you, there are other people here who don't share the same jaded outlook you have. Don't lump everyone together just because it didn't work out for you.
Score one for Miss
And
Pink.
you, my dear, are unexpectedly naive.
What's so naive about it? If you love each other, wouldn't you want to always see them, be with them, to have them focus solely on you? Maybe you haven't been loved enough.
Oh, it's
I kinda
that
give her another
kind of
point on
thing
that
for
one.
you, isn't it? The love is eternal, love is a strong emotion shite. A starry-eyed girl pining for her dashing Prince Charming.
No, I don't think
So
so.
what's next? Romantic confessions of love? A grand wedding on the beach? Dozens of spawns running around in some picturesque home in the suburbs? How quaint. Are you also expecting it's going to be sunshine and rainbows after? A happily ever after? Please.
What? I never once said. And is all of that such a bad thing to hope for?
Woman, I've been married for 7 years, and I'm telling you, it's far from what you have in your pretty red head.
But it's different for everybody.
Everybody has a different relationship, asshole.
Tell me, how long has this song and dance been going for you and your man? Maybe I am mistaken.
What was it, 20 years?
Something like that. They were childhood friends.
Averting my eyes from him is all I managed to do. What does his mere 7 years have compared to the 17 I was close, 17 I've had with Ash? It's laughable he thinks those two things are even comparable. Ash and I may have never moved past the boundaries of friendship like I'm hoping for years, but what we have isn't something anyone can scoff at. I've always been by his side, endured everything with him. I know him better than anyone. No matter what this man, this complete stranger says, I know there will always be a place for me beside him. And yet...
Come on, Daisy, that shouldn't be too hard. 3, 5, 8, 10, 20.
His words easily seep into my heart like sharp daggers, gradually picking apart everything I've ever been sure of. Despite myself, the doubts resurface and my defenses crumble right in front of my eyes.
Don't let him get to you. Don't let him chink your armor.
It's no wonder he sees through me, and as expected, he ridicules it. Restrained, low rumbling, a sharp sound striking the air around us amidst the murmur of people and the soft notes of the music playing over our heads. His shoulders shake, and when his mirth becomes too much for even him, he reaches up a hand and passes it over his face as if to hold his glee close to him.
Bloody bullocks, this is just
He
brilliant.
gets, like, pleasure from other people's misery.
Yeah, it sure seems that
Oh,
way.
mother, why do I always keep running into these things? This day couldn't get any better.
What?
What?
I'm gonna need a stiff drink after this.
You're not supposed to drink.
He dissolves into another peal of laughter, but when it subsides, what he has for me are more words, scathing each of them. The urge to run from here has never been this
Is
strong.
everything you said how you plan to act, if that man of yours ever ends up with you? Cling to him? Put him on a bloody pedestal? Let him become the center of your universe? Although with how long this seems to be going on, I think you've already done so. Marriage will just be icing on the top. Like some sort of reward for you, isn't it? For being a good, patient, loyal little girl all this time. Never looking at another man. He must have been having a grand time with someone pining over him this long. I'm a little envious, to be honest. Maybe also a little surprised he hasn't suffocated from all your attention yet.
Laugh all about it if you want. It's not like you'll ever understand.
Luke falls silent. There we go. The ridicule in him is gone in an instant, and his eyes meet mine, sharp and imposing. A challenge, but I hold it against him with the same intensity, because if there's something I won't let his opinion trample on, it's this. What does he know? However, he's the first one who looks away, focusing his eyes back to where Kylie is, and for a moment, I believe I've won, until he draws in a breath and turns back to me. The words he drops next, though hushed, hang heavily in the distance between us.
You're right. I won't. But I do know not to mistake love for obsession, woman. They are not the same thing.
It rattles. Out of everything he said tonight, this is the one thing that twinges my heart. Maybe it's in the manner he delivers it, the lack of conceit in his posture, or an underlying insult in the tone he takes. The remark is not meant to cut merely to express a simple truth. This time, it's him who holds gaze against mine. Another unspoken challenge, and I realize that if this happened minutes before, I'd already have an equally searing retort at the tip of my tongue. There's none. But the anger is there, ringing at my insides, prodding at the uncertainties I've long kept. Isn't it enough? We have the long years we've been together. We have the memories. Whenever he needs me, until other people came in between us, I've always been the one there. That dedication and loyalty should mean something, shouldn't it? I've always been sure of it, and that one day he'll see it for what it is. In spite of that, in this minute, under this man's scrutiny, my own heart wavers, and I struggle to find words for it.
Oh, boy.
Hey, it's choice time. And that, it seems like a perfect place to end for today. I actually don't really know which one to go with.
I don't either on this one. The other one I thought was going to be difficult, but we figured it out pretty quickly that we wanted to see whatever the hell this was, and I kind of regret it.
I didn't get what I was kind of hoping for out of this so far. I'm wondering if with Ash you would have gotten more stuff like about the ghosts.
The only thing I'm wondering is, will this scathing like BS from him actually push her to actually go like admit her feelings for Ash? Maybe.
Yeah, could be. See how that goes. All right. Anyway, that's gonna do it for us. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next time.